We got the news Wednesday night. It was like the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was. I won't get into that. But that Greg Berhalter would be announcing what would be a 26-man roster for the opening 3 World Cup qualifying games in September. September the 2nd in San Salvador against El Salvador. That's a Thursday. Sunday, September the 5th, USA and Canada in Nashville, Tennessee. Wednesday, September the 8th in San Pedro Sula against Honduras. We've been waiting for this after not making the World Cup. This was quite an event. We're all gathered around. And then it was announced. We expected some surprises. I don't think we got many, if any. Maybe a couple. We expected some omissions. We got those. But this is a very deep squad, and some guys are going to be disappointed. But this is a marathon. There'll be games in October, November, through all of 2022. So this is a team you want to be on. You're going to have to work to be on it. And the guys who are omitted either are injured in some way or not playing. Greg Berhalter, everything he said, he delivered on. He mentioned the summer, playing for these new clubs, Nations League, Gold Cup. Only 2 players were selected, didn't play on the Gold Cup or the Nations League. That's Conrad de la Fuente and Ricardo Pepi, who I'm going to talk about here in a moment. But both those guys have been on rocket ships as of late, so they're in. And they are specialists. They can do certain things that make them valuable to this roster. By the way, then we got even more good news for U.S. soccer. The Champions League draw, and what was it, 13 players? A couple of them going to be playing against each other in Champions League group stages. You got a Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie collision course. You even have an American coach in the Champions League. This is incredible. What a day. Now I got to keep the momentum. World Cup qualifying is not going to be easy. But this is a very exciting squad, and we're going to break down the roster, and we're going to see what lies ahead. This is the Soccer OG. We're going to be all over the place. So we're going to have recaps of every game as it happens from World Cup qualifying. We'll talk about some other teams as well. Got a request to talk about Canada. You got it. Coming soon. We have some giveaways coming as well, so you're in the right place. But in order to do that, hit the subscribe button. I'm not kidding. Hit it. Hello? I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude, but hit the subscribe button. I want you to come along for the ride. So, 26 men. I'm going to start with the forwards, and the 3 games over a week is going to mean a lot of guys will play games. But I want to talk about the biggest story, which is Ricardo Pepi, dual national, Mexican-American, and I think that's an important designation. Mexican-Americans add so much to the American experience. Living in Los Angeles, I have the honor of living and getting all the creature comforts and advantages of living in a Mexican-American community, which means so many good things, including football and food and tequila. So, Mexican-Americans, I put my arm around you anytime. And it's good to see some. Remember, David Ochoa swore his allegiance to Mexico. Ricardo Pepi. And this is great for U.S. soccer because they felt like they were losing some of them. We need more Latinos in this team. It's an incredible melting pot of a squad, but more Latinos is good, especially Mexican-Americans. And Ricardo Pepi, who said, "This country has given me and my family a home." Greg Berhalter would add, we have been talking to him long before Mexico was involved. He made his decision with his heart. And it's an incredible story. Not only because he chose the U.S., but because this kid has got the goods. 18-year-old, 9 goals already in Major League Soccer play. Had a historic hat trick for FC Dallas. How about that academy? How many academies worldwide are better than FC Dallas? 10? I don't even know that. They are pumping them out, and you better believe everyone's looking for Pepi, a statuesque number 9, classic mobile, who can invent some things on the fly too, and he's got that swagger. So an incredible development, and now they can cap tie him. So he's part of a big forward stable, which is going to be hard to crack, but he's here for a reason. And he'll get in one of these 3 games, maybe as a sub, maybe he'll start. But it's great to see the kids in a very young team moving forward here. So Ricardo Pepi will join the following, and I said, this is the hardest group to crack. Brendan Aronson, Conrad De La Fuente, Jordan Pefok, Sibachu, Pepi, Pulisic, Gio Reyna, Josh Sargent, and Tim Weah. Tim Weah has been playing pretty well for Lille. Let's talk about the omissions for a moment because it's an incredible list. Matthew Hoppe, not been playing for Schalke, who are now in the second division. 6'3" guy. Everyone wanted to see him. He was probably at the top of the list of guys who did not make it, but you can see why not. And you get Pepi in. Pefok has been scoring at an incredible clip for young boys who are now on the way to the Champions League. Aronson, the same for Red Bull Salzburg, who could be the surprise team in the Champions League. By the way, there's not going to be many surprises there. For all the Super League haters, you're going to have a Super League kind of round of 16 again in the Champions League. Okay? But that's a story for another day. He's obviously at the top of the list. No Sam Vines, Matt Miazga, Yunus Musa, Daryl Dike, Julian Green. All these guys have a couple things in common. A, they're not really playing regularly. Some are carrying some injuries. Yunus Musa's carrying an injury. What an interesting story he is. Remember when he swore his allegiance to the United States? We just put him in the midfield. He goes, start. Put him in ink. If he was healthy, he's not in this starting 11. If he's healthy, he is scrambling to make this squad. This is how competitive it has gotten. Because there's always a new guy. Look at Conrad De La Fuente. Get in there. And he says, I want to be in there, and I'm going to show you why. And he did. So all these guys will get a chance maybe in October, November to get back in this team. And we wish a speedy recovery for Musa. We hear that he's almost there. But this is a really exciting squad. By the way, I think I said the Champions League, 13 players in one. I have my notes. I'm just checking it all over here. So let's get to the midfield. 5 midfielders. Now keep in mind, and I'm going to give Yves Galarcep some credit because I got it off his Twitter feed, but he asked Greg Berhalter in a press conference about the possibility of Gio Reyna playing in the midfield, and Berhalter said Reyna and Aronson could play there. James Sands, who's in the defensive group, he's a guy who could play in the midfield. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but with all the defenders, center backs they're carrying, it tells you they may play with 3 in the back with the 2 wing backs, or they'll play in a traditional 4. But there's a lot of center backs. But let's get back to the midfield. It's a big job. And Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and 3 MLS players. I wanted to say that because I want to talk about this. Kellen Acosta, Christian Roldan, and Sebastian Lletget. The poster boy for all this hate on places like YouTube and Twitter from U.S. soccer fans who, I don't want to be offensive here, but you just don't know. You don't know. This guy gets magnified, Sebastian Lletget, if he does a pass here that you don't like, or his corner kick's a bit short. We need him. He's an important player, one of the most important players. And the reason he gets all of this vitriol is he plays in MLS. Simply that. If he transferred and played at Monaco, you'd be going, bring him in. It's that simple. There's this snobbery, I don't know what you call it. I don't want to go too deep into it, but it really bugs me. Who else would you get in there? Kellen Acosta was criticized. He had an incredible Gold Cup. Guess what? He's probably starting in a hugely important role. The 2 holding midfielders, Adams and Acosta. When you have fullbacks going up, there's going to be space they have to protect. They're going to have to connect it to McKennie to get the offense going too. That is the most important part of this U.S. team. And an MLS player is going to be in one of those positions, and maybe 2 of them at some point. So just stop, especially with Sebastian Lletget. Show some respect because he's going to put some egg on your face. I promise you that. And we need some experience because this team is very, very young. So the midfielder group could expand. Let's get to the defenders. Fullbacks, there are only 4. Serginho Dest, Anthony Robinson, those are probably the starters. DeAndre Yedlin and George Bello, another MLS player. Maybe some other guys can go in a fullback spot. I don't know. But the center backs, John Brooks, James Sands, Miles Robinson, Mark McKenzie, and Walker Zimmerman. So as again, you could have 3. Sands could come up. The diversity of some players is going to be a massive development for this team. And you can kind of see what Greg Berhalter is thinking. I approve of this team. If I did it, Tim Ream is in there too. I didn't say his name, the defenders. And that's another guy who gets a lot of pushback. But look, I'm not a huge Tim Ream fan, but he can play a couple positions on the back line, and he's a good veteran guy in the locker room. You've got to have some of that because this is uncharted waters for this young team. They're going to play Concacaf Qualifiers, which is unlike anything they have played before. And it is going to be testy, it's going to be hostile. And you got to have these guys to kind of say, this is what to expect, this is what to expect. You didn't get Michael Bradley or Josie Altidore, but you're getting Sebastian Lletget, Tim Ream, and a couple others to show the way. Not many. This is still a very young team. I'm okay with Tim Ream. I probably would not have put him in there. Maybe I put Miazga in there. I don't know who else. I would have liked to have put in Matthew Hoppe, but I want Pepi. And Conrad De La Fuente proved it to me. As a vertical player, I want him in there. So I am good with this team. I thought it was very well selected. Let's get into the games, and we'll have a proper preview coming up here on Sunday. What do the players get out of this? What do they get? 9 points on offer. To think they're going to go into San Salvador and San Pedro Sula and get 6 points there is extremely naive. Canada is so much improved that that's not going to be easy. None of these games are going to be easy. Now, they can't come out of here with 3 points or 4 points. I think 5 points is good. A win and 2 ties, somewhere along the lines. 6 would be better. 7 would be great. But that's where I think it's going to fall. Anything less, well, we can get a little alarmed. I don't think they're going to win all 3 games. We'll know a lot after they play the first game. For years, we've talked about the situation in Concacaf. El Salvador's improved, and they're going to be hyped up for this game. By the way, U.S. can travel. The Premier League saying that they were going to not allow some of their players to go represent their country or face this 10-day quarantine period. La Liga followed suit. El Salvador and Honduras are not on the red list, whatever they call it. And, well, it's a relief. So Christian Pulisic plays in the Premier League, Josh Sargent in the Premier League, and several others that could have been blocked here. Just want to remind all you guys, for these people that think this Premier League is this romantic league and has the best interest, look, they pay these players. This is your number one job. You've got to honor your club. But this is World Cup qualifiers. And if you think this isn't a financial decision by the Premier League, you're crazy. The Premier League is covering their backside because they have high levels of COVID. It's hypocrisy when they say you can go here or Mohamed Salah can't go to Egypt. You've got to trust the process. But they're putting their foot down. And I think it's wrong. But look, I don't want to go up against the clubs. I think it's important that these players honor what they do for the clubs. But this is World Cup qualifying. So I just want to say, just when you talk about FIFA or UEFA or the Super League, the Premier League is right there too. It's all about money. And that's the way it is. Get used to it. The games are going to be tricky. They should beat Canada at home. Honduras is slipping a bit, but they should probably get a win there. Let's change it to 7 points. 7 points. And we'll preview these a little bit. But I am so excited. There's so much to be excited about with this team. Again, I'm looking at all this stuff. I don't want to bore you with all of it. I've been on here long enough. Subscribe to the Soccer OG. We'll be back. Plenty of U.S. men's national team content coming your way.